Hey everybody, welcome to the July 21st edition of Give Me 5 Minutes with Fort Smith City Director Neil Martin, where we look at last week and we look ahead at what's going on this week. It's been a wild day in national politics, so I'll give you a little opportunity to focus a little bit on some local stuff. Sorry I wasn't able to have a Give Me 5 last week. There's plenty to discuss, water rates, things like that. At some point I'll get a video out that kind of talks about those. I had a home project that I was working on and had to travel out of town for it, so didn't get a chance to do it. But let's go ahead and talk about last week. Last week we had a special meeting, then we had a study session. The special meeting was regarding amending Project Concern. Project Concern is a utility assistance program that gives you a 50% discount on your water and sewer and a 25% discount on solid waste. We were going to raise that threshold from 160% of the poverty threshold to 200%. That passed 7-0. So I think the board looked at that as an opportunity to help our disadvantaged population, especially with these water rates. So that was approved. Now for the study session, we talked about new needs. So there were, as a part of the 2024 budget, when we did our budget prep back in 2023, at the end of 2023, there are some new needs, some new personnel requests and new capital requests. So we talked about those. We also talked about the Animal Haven audit performed by Baker Tilly. This is the third-party audit that was done because there was disagreement with some on the board regarding the charges associated with Animal Haven. So we talked about that, and we deferred an item, the Move Fort Smith Active Transportation Master Plan. We decided to move that to a future study session. The two items that we did talk about in the study session will be on this week's agenda, and I'll talk about that in just a second. But if you would like to go and see everything that we talked about, all the discussions from that study session, I encourage you to go to fortsmithar.gov/watch. There you can see all of that. You can look at previous meetings, previous discussions. If you want to see all the discussions related to water rates, that meeting, you can do that. This week, we have a meeting on Tuesday, and as always, it's at the Blue Lion, 101 North 2nd Street in downtown Fort Smith. We have a few things on the agenda. I'm only going to hit on some key areas. One would be accepting the external auditor's report on the financial statements of the city. We do this every year. We have an external auditor audit our finances, and this gives us the opportunity to approve or deny that. We'll also be accepting that voting to accept that third-party review of the Baker Tilly audit of the Fort Smith Animal Haven. Again, I'll refer to our discussions last week. And we'll also have the vote to amend the operating budget for 2024 for personnel and capital expenses. That's usually equipment, trucks, things like that. So what it turned out to be, $1.3 million, $900,000 of it personnel, $400,000 in capital and equipment. Mostly this was for streets and solid waste. There are some elsewhere, but majority of that comes from streets and solid waste. So we'll be voting on that. And another thing I just wanted to bring to your attention, we have agreed to a company called MakeMyMove that incentivizes people around the United States moving to Fort Smith. We have an item on our agenda to potentially allocate some funding dollars to give folks that move here and purchase a home $10,000 to move here. If they rent, it's $5,000. So that's something new. There are some other incentives like Marshall's Museum tickets, Parrot Island passes, some other things, but this would really put some teeth into it. So this is Make My Move, additional dollars for that project. I encourage you to go look at the full agenda. You can see that on the website, fortsmithar.gov/watch. And you can see everything that we're going to talk about, and I'd love to hear your feedback on that. That's all we got this week. Hopefully this information was helpful and made you better aware of the items that are in front of your board of directors. I look forward to meeting with you next Sunday when we do this again. I'll see you then on Give Me 5.